Welcome back to the ETF Inspector. It is Monday, August 25th, about 4:15 in the afternoon. New trading week, markets are closed, and this is our daily recap video for our Roundhill weekly paying funds. The first three are 0DTE covered call strategies on the indexes, QDTE for the NASDAQ 100, XDTE for the S&P 500, and RDTE for the Russell 2000. The last one is YBTC. It's a Bitcoin covered call strategy, and before they were on two different funds, but now they're just trading on IBIT. So if you didn't see my X post the other day, I mentioned that news. Let's see right here, August 23rd, big change in Roundhill YBTC. They got rid of CBTX, and now the fund is only trading IBIT. So if you're not on X, follow me. You miss stuff like that, as well as things like the daily trades for these 0DTE funds. I posted those this morning about, I think, 4 minutes after they came out. It was well before 10 o'clock that I got that post out. But I don't know if you guys trade along with them or if you just like to keep track. But got that out there as well. And then also I like to do shout outs for when people like Shane and Tara or Dennis Wang just recently became supporters on Buy Me a Coffee. But I don't know if they watch these videos, so they'll get their shout out in the Ulti video for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how the markets did for related to these funds. Looks like a lot of red, right? So we've got the NASDAQ 100 was down 1/3%, roughly. Looks like they snuck into the positive and then finished out negative. QDTE, very similar, very close, 0.26% down. It outperformed, but not by enough to brag about. SPX down 0.43%. XDTE basically followed along with it, 0.41%. Russell 2000 was down almost 1%, and for some reason RDTE was actually down over 1%. So the fund did not outperform. I don't know why I didn't get rid of CBTX because they're not in there anymore. YBTC was down almost 4.5%. We know crypto-related things basically gave back everything from Friday and then some. IBIT was down over 5% though, so YBTC did outperform, although both down. So let's take a look at the trades that were made and see how they're doing. We'll start with QDTE. They sold calls on NDX expiring today for $23,540 as the strike price, 379 contracts collecting a late $11.98 premium per share. That comes out to $454,000. We take a look at that strike compared to where it closed, 23,425, well below, so it won't cost anything to settle, and it's a full profit of $454,000 on the day. All right, when we look at the holdings, we just got paid 23.9 cents per share on Friday. Did a video with a guesstimate basically saying I think they're going to keep it the same. If you'd like more of the details on how I got to those numbers, go back and watch Friday's video. Approaching that, although we were approaching that $900 million asset under management mark, but after today's decrease, these numbers will go down. They did report an increase on Friday, so after hours on Friday, so it wouldn't have made the Friday video. That's why it's in today's. 600,000 more shares being bought into the fund, bringing them up over 25 million outstanding shares. The NAV before the day started was 35.70. Obviously, it's going to drop along with however the underlying performed, and then also the share price. Also, everything's going to change based on whether people bought into or sold out of the fund today. We won't find that out until the information gets released late tonight or tomorrow. 2 days till declaration day. That'll be Wednesday. We're thinking we're going to be pretty much in line with where things have been. There was a small change in the holdings. They added to their farthest dated long deep in the money call. 4 more contracts. We went from 37 up to 41 now. Okay, next, XDTE. they sold calls, 659 calls, collecting a $1.48 premium with a strike price of $64.80. Came out to $97,000 collected. $64.80 is well above that $64.39 closing price, so they were not in any danger. Doesn't cost anything to close it out, and they get to keep the full $97,000 collected. We take a look. They just recently paid 25.3 cents. I'm not reading all the decimals. 25.3980 cents per share on Friday. My guesstimate was pretty much right in line with that again, 25.3 this coming Friday. Nothing exciting or special there. We'll find out on Wednesday, the 27th. Money came into this fund as well, 150,000 new shares as of Friday, bringing them up to 9,605,000. There's 422 million assets under management. Again, these numbers will drop a little bit based off of how the underlyings perform. That is because these are basically synthetic positions. They bought these deep in the money calls, and they will perform pretty evenly with how the S&P does. So since it went down, they will all decrease in value. These don't get updated live time. They just put these out after the fact, and they're not things we can look up all the time. They're flex options like a $607.91 call. Okay. RDTE. Look at the trade first. They sold 657 calls at $1.47 a share, 96,000, with a strike price of $23.70 on the Russell 2000. It ended at $23.39. That's well below, so it doesn't cost anything to close it out, and they get to keep the 96,000 collected. Again, Declaration Day, 2 days away. Recently, they paid 25.4822 cents per share on Friday. My guess was a little higher this time. 26 cents is what I think that they're going to pay this coming Friday. There's $152 million in assets under management. Increase, people buying into the fund, 80,000 more shares, bringing them up to 4,530,000. Right, your share price is below your NAV because of today's decrease of nearly 1%. No change in holdings. All right, and finally, YBTC. They don't do 0DTE trades. Last week on Friday, they closed their weekly calls and rolled them out to this coming Friday. So for this week, they have sold calls at $67.30. I forgot to update that. And I need to update that. So those calls are 7% out of the money after today's 5% drop. So they're synthetic. This is a different type of synthetic. This one, they purchase calls and sell puts at the same strike, that being $66.70. And then however IBIT moves up or down, these will increase or decrease in value. So whereas the synthetic had $755,000 in value before today happened, that will go well into the negative once they put out the new values, because now IBIT is well below that 66.70. It's 62.88. The only good news will be that it's going to look like these are going to be very cheap to close out at the end of the week, unless there's a big turnaround. And they'll probably get cheap very early in the week. It might be nice to see them close them and roll them down, but I don't think they mess with them throughout the week from what I've seen so far. There's $294 million in assets under management. There was an increase, people buying into the fund to the tune of 50,000 shares on Friday, bringing the outstanding up to 6,160,000. Obviously, that NAV is going to look high because it doesn't reflect today's decrease yet. Thursday, they paid 48.4327 cents per share. We did our estimate on Friday, and the guess is about 45.8 cents per share. Tomorrow is the announcement, August 26th. They announce on Tuesdays and pay on Thursdays. All right, so that's all I have for you. Good luck trading tomorrow, and watch out for the post with the trades in the morning if that's the kind of thing you like. If not, then I'll just catch you in the next video. Thank you. Have a good night.